It is day 2 of our launching your profitable business. This is for coaches, for consultants, for service providers. And the reason we are doing this training, who this is for and why you need to be here, is because launching your business is not just for when you first start. So this is great for those who are just starting. This is great for if you've been in business for a year. This is great for a business if you've been in business for 5, 8 years, and so on. The numbers keep going because we never want to assume. I think we all know what that word means. We never want to assume that people know who we are and what we do and how we do it and how we do it differently than others. When we start making those assumptions, then we are, well, leaving money on the table for one, but we are really reducing the possibilities of all these new people who don't know who we are. For the people who have forgotten about us because we have not been front of mind. And I invite you today with day 2, we are talking about amplifying our online presence. Yesterday, we talked about our business model and choosing a business model that is sustainable, for one, that is also has the ability to grow, but to take on what you can handle right now so that you can do it really well, so that you don't run yourself into burnout. Because that is one of the biggest things that I see is we get ourselves in this spin cycle, and rather than choosing a core product and focusing and getting that really up and going so that it can sustain itself, we're trying to compare ourselves to all these people who are 5 steps ahead of us, and we're trying to mimic what they are doing. Right? Like, so anyone that I'm teaching, you should not be doing exactly what I'm doing because I'm going to be steps ahead of where you are. So I'm going to show you what you need to do first and then where that grows into. So yes, we need to know where we're going, and why we're doing what we're doing is getting us there. So we've got a lot to talk about today. Thank you for joining me. So go ahead and say hello in the chat. Let us know about your business. It's a great opportunity to shout out what you do, who you serve. Why are you different? Why are you here? And there is never any shame in a successful business saying, I want to be more successful. There is never any shame. And like, I still go to business trainings. I still pay for a coach. And I continuously am looking to go to the next level, because your business as a business owner or as a director or a VP or anything of that nature, your business and being in business will be the biggest self-development program that you have ever been in, because your business provides this beautiful reflection for you to go, something's stuck, something's not working. And it's not always like, is there something wrong with me? Not in that capacity, but rather like, is there a better way for me to do things? Is there something that I'm not seeing? Is there something that I need to learn, develop? Because I will tell you, and I think a lot of us already know this, but just in case you forgot maybe, but COVID changed up how we have to show up online. It is not as simple, unfortunately, to just send a couple emails and to just go to a networking brunch or just go to an online networking thing. It is not that simple anymore. The customer's expectation has increased of how much you should be showing up online, how much digital products and digital touch points you should be providing, because so many people had to go online. They had to pivot. And so for the businesses who are more established and you're going, it just hasn't been the same since then. You have to get yourself in with the digital revolution and up the skills on how we're functioning on that level. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how to amplify your presence. And we're going to particularly talking about launching and launch strategies and how you can get visible with launch strategies. And if you haven't heard the term launching, it is similar to running a marketing campaign. But a marketing campaign was typically did not infuse in live video. And so when we get to a launch, it's typically a campaign building up to a launch. And then the launch is kind of like a campaign on steroids, so to speak. And it allows us to spend some targeted time really trying to understand our clients, have conversation with them, increase our customer service with them. And marketing, again, if you didn't catch this yesterday, marketing is so much more than just capturing more leads. Your marketing should be providing customer service. It should be warming your audience or keeping your audience engaged. So, marketing is a multifaceted approach when it's done well. Good morning. So, welcome and thanks for joining. This is day two of Launch Your Profitable. Yes, and balloons pop up when I do the number two. So, you will see all these different things come across my screen as AI has tried to read my body language unsuccessfully, but it's okay. I'll take balloons going across the screen. Maybe that grabs your attention. So welcome. We're talking about amplifying your online presence. And when we're talking about launching and marketing, and we want to make sure that our audience and our leads and people that are even in our ecosystem already, they know what we do. They know what we're about. We're building a relationship. And I know for me, when I first started in sales and marketing, and that was a component that wasn't really taught in business school, was this relationship component. And I had to do a lot of work around that, my personal self, to go like, what does a healthy relationship look like? And I've noticed over the years as I've learned more of that and installing more of that, that I think that is number one of our root problems within business, sales, marketing, is that a lot of us don't really truly know what a great relationship feels like. And I will tell you, and I don't know if you've experienced this, like we try to go out to eat and people just don't know customer service like they used to. Or maybe it's that mine and my husband's the expectation for customer service is just not there. Like people are not paying attention and listening. They're not in it to really serve. And this is what I call servant selling, where we're in it to serve. We're showing up to serve and be of benefit and of help. And instead, we're like, I'm just doing the basics. This is what I'm supposed to do. And we get so wrapped up, even as business owners, sometimes we pull back because we're scared of what people might think. And if we just lean in, it gets so much easier. But I won't go too much into sales. We're going to talk about sales more tomorrow and these conversion strategies. So stay tuned. Tomorrow, we're going to dive into that more. But we still need to understand that relationships and showing up for our audience, for our leads and our current audience, is really how we are truly going to amplify our online presence, because we need to show up and hear what they need. This is no longer the old style of marketing where it's like, I think this is what they need, and I'm just going to put that out there and test the waters. We have this amazing social media platforms now where people can be heard. We can get almost that instant response and we can pivot. Now, there is caution there, because what that can also do for us as the business owners or the marketing team is start to overanalyze and pivot too much too often. We still need a plan, and we can tweak and we can refine. And that is one of the reasons why we need that core product and that core strategy. It's not to say, well, maybe I'll try this or maybe I'll try that. It's to say, this is what we're doing. And then we're going to keep tweaking and pivoting this one thing rather than trying to make, as I talked about yesterday, this make, just keep making new things and keep spitting them out. And we're never refining something to make it really great. So we need to stick with one core system, one core process. So we know that we need to capture a lead. We need to get someone's attention, and we're going to have strategies for getting their attention. And if we don't know them, if they're not in our ecosystem, yes, we could run ads. But one of the biggest things that come up is going, well, I ran ads and nothing really great happened. Well, did you test it first? And they're like, no, I didn't test it. How do I test it? Right? Like, who wants to know how to test it? You're like, how do I test to run an ad to make sure my ad's going to even get me the results that I need, or even like be worthy of spending money? Then type test in the chat. Type test in the chat. You're like, how do I even make sure that ads are going to work for me? Now, for some of us, we're like, I just need to build an audience before I can even test something. Maybe you're like, I don't even know how to build an audience. I don't know how to post in an environment where people are going to see what I need them to see. Type build. You're like, I just need to figure out how to build an audience before I can even test a post. So type in build if that is what you need. All right. So first and foremost, we have to pick an audience. And I'm sure you all heard this. Like, you got to choose a niche. I'm not a big fan of this word niche. I feel like it's been ran into the ground and it's been misused and misconstrued in so many different ways. Like, don't even get me started. But you need to pick an audience to test something in. So when we first start out, we go, okay, this is the service I'm providing. We can start one of two ways. Here's the service that I can provide. These are my gifts that I want to share. Who are some audiences that I could share that with? Let me strategize. Not, oh, I'm going to pick one. This one sounds good. No, what are some audiences that you can test out? Or you can say, I have an audience. This is the audience I have, and I want to create a product for them. Really, these are really the main two ways that we go about business. So, right, like Jonna, you've got the finding yourself after divorce. Okay. Finding yourself after divorce course. Sounds good, right? We know that you can either help men or women. Okay. If you were to help women, are they going to be in a Facebook group? What type of Facebook groups might they be in? What type of women might these be? And we would just start a mind map, a brainstorm, and then we would choose the most profitable one. Right? Do we see this at the top? Profitable. We would choose the most profitable one. Now, that does not mean that you can't go help the other women, but in order to start a business, have money coming, because the main purpose of a business is to make money, to sustain yourself, then you can start creating resources to not only support them, but to support this other audience that maybe cannot afford the price right now. But what I see a lot of people do with their businesses is they try to start putting a bunch of free stuff out there, and they're spending all of their time creating free stuff in the beginning. And I'm not saying they're not supposed to do any free stuff, but they're spending all their time creating the free stuff. They're spending all their time on social media. They're spending all this time because what do? They see these other people on social media who are already making money, who are already at stage 5, stage 10, putting a bunch of free stuff out, putting a bunch of like low cost subscriptions, and they're putting all these things out there. And they're like, well, that's what they're doing. That's what I should do too. That is not how they started. They started by finding and testing where their audience is, building up their audience, starting to make money. And as they made money and as they started working with people, they were developing additional content. You have to do market research. You have to get out there and actually have these conversations. And a lot of times people avoid this because it's building relationships, it's having conversation, it's being vulnerable. And we skip this step, and then we are left spinning our wheels and trying to do everything over in a silo. This is why, if you are going to be creating programs, I highly recommend that you be in some type of group coaching so that you can get feedback and you can get suggestions from other people within it. Because if you just do one-on-one coaching as you're doing this, yes, you should be getting an expert's opinion. But if you can be in the group setting, you're going to not only get the expert's opinion, but you're going to get the other people that are in the group's opinion as well. And that is a huge benefit. Huge benefit. So masterminds. But you have to not just do a mastermind. You still have got to get out there and do the market research. You have to do that. Okay. Everyone understand? Type an M if you understand that you have to do market research. Type an M if you understand that you have to do market research. Now, if you are struggling to do the market research where you're like, I'm intimidated or I'm just really not sure what to do, type an S. Type an S if you're like, I'm just still not really sure how to do that market research. Maybe you're like, I kind of need a little help. Maybe you need a little push. Maybe you need that accountability. It might fall all in that. Just put an S if you're like, there's some hesitance. All right. So when we're doing that, we really truly want to, and make sure you write this down. We're really truly making sure that we create one key free resource. Just one. Just one. Now we might have to tweak that. Maybe that one isn't the one that works, but if we did the market research and we talked to people and we found out what they're really needing and we found out a resource that we could create for them to build the know, like, trust factor, and we said, I just created a resource for you. It's this. Or to say when you're doing market research, so if I created you a one pager that explained this, would that be helpful? On a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful would that be? And if 10 people just said, yes, that would be amazing. Great, create that free resource. Now you have a lead magnet. And this lead magnet needs to be something people are searching for. So I always say, like, your key audience, it's not what you think they need because you are normally 10 steps ahead of them and you see their problem from a completely different perspective. What are they in their current pain point searching for? That if it popped up on their screen, they'd be like, yes, I'm giving you my email. I want this free resource and I want it now. And not only do I want it now, but I'm going to go check my email to open it up so that I can actually view it and read it. That's the type of free resource that you need to create, not 10 or 20 of them, just the one. And you're going to find that out by talking to about 25 people. 25 people. And guess what? When you do this market research, it's highly likely that you might convert some of these people into clients. Why? Because you're building relationship, because you're providing them resources. And this is exactly what I teach in my program. Okay? One key lead magnet. Now we talk about our digital infrastructure. Our digital infrastructure needs to be a process, a full funnel that pulls people through. I was talking with a client yesterday and I was like, I don't know if you noticed in my I Love Yoga group, every day, multiple times a day, there is a welcome post and it's tagging people and all of this. I'm not doing any of that. It is all set up automatically to do that. And there are other systems that I could put in place that then potentially collects their emails and send them emails too. But we have to choose a funnel that is going to work for our business, for our clients, because each set of clients is going to be slightly different. Now, is there overall probably a good 6 funnels that you could choose from that would probably work for your business? Yes, but we're still going to have to tweak those. And I say this to empower you because I see a lot of these like, buy my training and do it exactly the way I did it. And although you can do that and follow their method, and you're probably still going to have to tweak it slightly. So I say that again to empower you. Now, who here has a Facebook group or a community? A Facebook group or a community? Type C in the chat for community. If you have a Facebook group or a community, type C. Because I'm curious, are you using your community to build an audience and then to educate and engage and position yourself as the community expert, as the industry leader? Because it's really easy. I see a lot of times we'll build a community, but we don't position ourselves as the leader. We also like get scared to sale, like to do sales there. And what we end up doing is we put ourselves in the friend zone. So if you feel like you're putting yourself in the friend zone right now, yes, Nicole, I will give you an example of a funnel. So we're going to come right back to that. Okay. So if you are putting yourself in the friend zone, put an F or type friend, because this is a fear-based response of not wanting to be salesy. Will we agree with that? So let's come back to Nicole asked for, can you give me an example of a funnel? Yes, I'm going to make one up off the top of my head based on just all the funnels I build all day long. So there's a lead magnet where someone types, hey, who would like my 15 affirmations for self-love? They click on, or, they say me. You'll post the link as a reply back to those me's. They go to a landing page where they put in their email, and then up pops their 15 affirmations. Or let's say it sends their 15 affirmations to their email. And on that landing page, it says, check your email. By the way, you should join our Facebook group. It's a community of self-development and people looking to embrace positive mentality. Again, I'm making this up. And because we need to tell them why they need to join the Facebook group, not just here's my Facebook group. We need to tell them it's for them. And we would know that based on the lead magnet. Who that lead magnet's for is going, okay, you're going to love this, but join the community too, and give them a reason to join the Facebook community. So they join the Facebook community and they get tagged in a welcome post. And maybe you have some guides up in the section that's like, start here. And you're telling them how to get engaged in the Facebook group and how to utilize it. And you're giving them a reason to be in the Facebook group regularly. While you're doing that, you're also positioning yourself as the leader of the group. And you're going to educate them and engage them. And you might create some type of, and we're going to our launch strategies, of maybe you do a challenge every other month and you do an educational training the opposite months. And within those, you are providing education, positioning yourself as the leader, and you will also tell them about your products and services interwoven into it, right? Like I've told you, I work with clients. I told you that I build funnels, but I'm not sitting here going, sign up for me right now. Like I'm educating you and I'm telling you and I'm empowering you so that you have this knowledge. Because honestly, like, why would you sign up with me if you didn't even have the knowledge of the usefulness of what I do? Does that make sense? So you can tell them, maybe you're talking about breathing exercises and how they'll benefit you. And during this training, you're going to teach them a breathing exercise each day and a somatic movement to use each day in order to accomplish this. And if they'd like to continue their journey, you invite them to enroll in your program. The start date is in 2 weeks. And that becomes part of your funnel because they had to sign up again. So now you took the people that are in your community and you got the people that actually registered. And then you're emailing those people, you're building relationships with those people, and you have a good insight of which one of those people are actually wanting to move forward. And they may not buy right then. And that's why you have to be in it for the long game. And you're in it because you know that they have a goal, that they need help, and they'll get the help they need by being in your program. Because, and this is some of the mindset behind this, is if we were to just, and I've done this plenty of times, so please trust me when I say this, and you might have experienced it too. When you're just giving them free stuff and they haven't committed, they are not committed. They are not full in. They are not going to get the results that they need. Someone who pays $10 to join something is not going to be as committed as someone who paid $10,000 to be in something, because they had to muster up and they had to really understand that they are really going to go all in. But they also need to know, what is the outcome? What are the shifts that they are going to have to make? Why are they doing this? And that's what I teach, is positioning yourself as a luxury brand. But as a luxury brand, we have to scale up. We have to allow ourselves to show up fully if we are inviting our potential clients to show up fully. We have to not put ourselves in the friend zone. We have to show up as the industry expert. Now, for you, if you're ready to show up as the industry expert, you're like, "Yes, I need that mojo. I need that, like, I'm ready to step into it." Type in the word "step up." Type in the word "step up." Now, maybe you're still like, "I wanna do it, but I'm still not entirely sure, like, it still sounds a little scary." Just type in "want." Type in "want." So step up or want. Step up or want. Because when we can step up and we can really have this mission driven philosophical problem that we are solving, we are inviting people into our container for change. We are letting go of the, "Oh, are they going to like me? Oh, is this what they want?" We have to let go of that. We have the powerful conversations. We intently listen to what they need. We create it without hesitation. We present it to them, and we know that when they step into our container, we can fully hold space for their transformation. But if they are out of our container, we will support them, but we cannot facilitate that same level of transformation as if they were in our container. Now, why I love launches is because I am creating a mini short-term container here for you all. Can you all feel that? Can you feel that we have a mini container? As I've invited you all in, you have signed up, you have committed to being here for the 3 days. And as you've committed to being here for the 3 days and you're in the Facebook group, and during this time, I am holding this container for you all. And then hopefully you feel the vibe of being in that container, and hopefully you want to stay in that container, or the container falls. I don't know if fall is the right word. the container dissipates. How about that? For a short period of time until we form a next temporary container. And that feeling alone energetically will invite people into that. That's why I love launches where we're building these relationships. We're holding, yes, Jonah, these tiny containers for these mini transformations. And this is how I support you all. I can still support my followers. I can still support the people who are considering working with me. I can support the people that want to work with me, but maybe they can't afford it right now. I can hold space for you all. But as a business owner, it would not be healthy for me to hold a container all the time for people that are not even committed. Now, our communities are a soft container. It's more of a like, here's this community, but we really want to form our community so that the community holds its own container and you are the leader of that community, but it's different than this learning container, this micro container. And so within my community is where it can dissipate, it can come back. It can dissipate, it can come back. And it's the space in which the container can be held. Okay, does everyone get that? Like how the community kind of fits in and how your launch is more of that temporary container and that we can hold the space. But if we don't have the community and we dissipate our container, then everyone just goes out and we don't have this space to meet back. And so we're creating this space where it's like, okay, like I know we regularly meet at the coffee shop. And so every time I go to the coffee shop, I think about you, right? So we're having this space, but the meeting inside of the coffee shop is the container. All right. So if that's making sense, give me a thumbs up. Put a yes in the chat. Hopefully this is all making sense. Now, let's jump back more to the masculine side of business as we just like went into the like, major feminine. Then when we talk about our brand and our digital strategy and creating captivating content and reaching our audience, we do need that strategy. Most people I talk to, we want balance. We want to feel centered, or another word for balance. We want to feel grounded. The groundedness is the strategy. The groundedness is our anchor. The groundedness is when we get far off in creativity and we have those days going, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Is this going to work? And we get so caught up in our head, which it is Vata season. It is the season, for Ayurveda that we get more in our heads and it's a little bit harder to be grounded, which is a great time for us to be eating the like sweet potatoes and the turkey and all of the Thanksgiving foods. This is why we might crave it more. We might eat a little bit more of it because our body is going, I'm so up here. So we need to create that groundedness. Our brand is how we show up luxury. It's also how we build trust. It is how we gain that established anchor. Our digital strategy needs to have a strategy that we implement. Otherwise, each month we're trying to create this new freebie, and each month we're making our funnel go in all these different places, and we don't stick to it long enough for it to be successful. Launching your profitable coaching business, I have ran this 4 or 5 times. It's slightly different each time because it's evolving. But I am going to continue to run this training. And you might say, I want to watch, I want to attend every time she does it because I know that you will pick up little nuggets, different nuggets each and every time because our mind learns through repetition. Right? It's like in school, right? Like at the beginning of the year, you learn the same thing every single year. It's like, oh my gosh, the biology class. It's like, how many times have I learned the Krebs cycle? Or, how many times have we talked about this funnel? because our mind learns through repetition. And when we have a brand, one of the things that I see people really struggle with is this repetition. People struggle with being repetitive because at some point in our life, we've told, yeah, you told me that already. Or, gosh, yeah, you're saying the same thing all the time. In the brand, we repeat ourselves. For one, don't be so, and I'm being slightly comical here. Don't be so egotistical that you think people saw your one post and is thinking about you all the time and thinking about that one post. Making fun, right? Because that is often what we think. And I know because I used to do that. Be like, oh, well, I've already talked about this. I've already made this post. My clients, I make sure that their key performing post, we repeat them 2 to 3 times per month. And most people would struggle to do that. Some of our key posts, like, hey, we have 24/7 customer service for the door company. Like, we repeat that at least once a week. Don't be scared to repeat images, to repeat words, to repeat messages. For example, this week for Fig Leaf, we are doing all about the yamas and the niyamas, and we're picking the second one, which is Satya, is speaking your truth, and we have 3 posts this week about that, phrasing it in different ways. Because what's the likelihood that someone sees one or doesn't see one? Or what's the likelihood that someone likes the post and they want to see more posts like that? I say it all the time. Like, you think about a favorite author that wrote a really great book, and you want to go listen to what they're talking about on YouTube. You want to listen to their podcast. You want to read their book. Maybe you've read their book twice. Did you get tired of hearing the same message over and over? Or did you need to hear it over and over to make sure that you made that core association with them, to learn through repetition? I need you to step up. And the reason I need you to step up is because one of my missions is you all are the ones that are out there being the change makers. You all are the ones that are out there that are going to be working with people and changing the world. But it's like that amazing book that may have changed your complete perspective or changed your life. What if that book didn't exist? What if that person got too scared to write and publish the book? This is you and your invitation to step up, because you will change at least one person's life. Most of you all probably already have changed at least one person's life. And you literally can change people's lives. Literally. All right, coming back to questions. So yes, go ahead and start dropping those questions in if you have them. So not exactly the same post, but laid out differently. Yes. So both. Depending on the types of post, if it's a very like informative post, I might use the same text in a different image, or I might use the same image in different text. So that's one strategy on those really well performing posts, especially when you're starting to do what we call A/B testing. And that is how we would test that out to see which the combination of image and text performs the best. And you can do that in your Meta suite for your business. You can do A/B testing to see which one performs best. And you would definitely want to do that before running ads. Now, when we are creating content, I recommend, and we're actually going to be doing this in the 2024 content creation workshop, which you can win a free ticket to. So we look at our entire year, the 12 months, and each month will have a overarching theme. And then there will be 4 sub themes within that. So for example, if we're talking about carbs, maybe one week we're talking about how carbs are great for your nervous system. Well, the whole theme for the whole week is carbs are great for your nervous system. I could create easily 7 different social media posts talking about how carbs are great for your nervous system. One of those could be like, if you don't have carbs, if you have too much carbs, If when you have the right amount of carbs, examples, testimonials. So there's all these different ways that we could talk about that. We could talk about different diet plans that have tried to take out carbs and add carbs. And, like there's the rice diet, then there's the Atkins diet. And then the Atkins diet actually led to a lot of nervous system damage. And a lot of people developed fibromyalgia that went really heavy on Atkins diet. So I could go in a whole week just on that. So picking something and really diving in, this is the true idea behind niching, is that when we actually narrow down, we give ourselves more room to expand on a topic. And when we do that and we find our audience, which we talked about at the beginning, like, I really want you to look at who all could be your audience and play with that. And I want you to choose your most profitable. It doesn't mean that you can't speak to all these people, but when you try to speak to everyone, you speak to no one, because we need that laser lucid, crystal clear, focused, message, so that when people read it, they go, this is for me. And what we tend to do is when we first start, we need to get super clear because we don't have as many resources and we are just not fully established. So we narrow in and then we can start expanding and broadening our audience. So I say that because a lot of times I hear coaches get fearful that people are going to miss out on what they're doing, and that is not the case at all. You are only one person and you cannot be in 50 places at one time. So we have to get in, clarify your message, get super crystal clear on it, and then we can start expanding. But if we expand too fast, then we risk this again, like burnout. We're like, I'm trying to do all these things, right? So having your tone and your voice. How you show up on one platform might be slightly different than how you show up on another. So, like when I show up on LinkedIn, I show up differently than when I show up on Facebook. Right? Does that make sense? Like, I am going to speak more towards, hey, I can build out your funnels for you and we can like really get strategic. That's what I'm talking more about on LinkedIn versus on Facebook. I might be talking more about like, hey, here's the overarching behind the scenes. You're more likely to be doing it yourself and you're more likely to be joining my program. Okay. So, your homework for today, if you know who your profitable target audience is, then fantastic. If you are not entirely sure, then I want you to list out all the potential people and say, who of these, maybe it's people you've served before, maybe it's people you've thought about serving, and going, who of these people would be the easiest for me to reach, meaning I have some type of connection with them. They would be easy for me to find. Maybe they would be in a Facebook group of some sort. And they also are looking for me. They're ready to buy, or they're looking for my service. They're ready to buy, and they have the money to buy. Because once you have money coming in, then you can offer scholarships. Then you could do one free session a month or something like that. But as a business, you have to have money coming in. It's, the age old example of you got to put your mask on first. If you're burnt out, you cannot be serving more people. You have to step up. See the fireworks. All right, you love this? You love all these effects. Like, I don't even have to do hardly anything. They just happen. Beautiful timing. So we have to step up to hold this space. People that are holding spaces, they are getting money in some way and you're just not seeing it. Or they have maybe someone supporting them so that they can sustain this. But no one is going to be just sitting here and doing these free trainings while their car is being taken away and they're about to lose their house and they're like, we cannot keep doing the work that we need to do. Even Mother Teresa was a multimillionaire. Even Mother Teresa was a multimillionaire. When we make more money, we can do bigger things. We can help more people. I've done sliding scale services before, but you have to charge for your work. You have to hold that container. The money is an energy. The energy holds the container. Okay. All right. So, homework number one is you need to identify your profitable audience that you are going to focus on for at least the next month. Now, for those who would like to join us and have not yet, we have a new sacred time management. It's a combination of the sacred time management and project management. So, when I say the sacred, meaning intentional life, honoring our energy, honoring like what we were talking about today. Then this time management aspect, which falls into us and how we manage our time, but also the project management skills. I am having another free session on Friday for you to give it a try, free trial. So we talked about yesterday, we talked about choosing a project that you're going to work on for the next 3 months. And that typically will entail something business oriented, and it might be just working with your profitable group of people. On Friday, we're going to dive into more of how to actually lay out a project so that we can accomplish it. And we talked a little bit about how, yes, there's this mindset of, oh, I'm going to put all this time in planning my project. Why can't I just be diving into it and doing the work? Studies, research show, and I joke, I was like, there's not a project management institute for no reason. Studies show that the success of the project is far more like higher percentage of success and on a timeline and within a budget, you know, little just completing it is far more the likelihood is far more higher when we lay it all out. All right. Nicole said, if I have a yoga team under me, do I share the same niche or is it okay for everyone to have a different group? It is perfectly fine for everyone to have a different group. So, for example, I love this, right? Like, I'm like, yoga is my passion, if you all couldn't tell. So I love yoga, I love self-development. I'm a yoga therapist, a hypnotherapist, aside from having my MBA and doing all of this business stuff. So having a yoga studio, for example, if you have a yoga studio and the yoga studio has a vibe and a theme of inclusivity, or the yoga studio has a vibe of power yoga and fitness, whatever the vibe of the overall studio will hold. With each yoga teacher, the example I always used to give is yoga is like music. And there's all these different genres of yoga, just like there's this genre of music. And within each teacher, they might have a hybrid of genres, right? Like Elvis Presley took some blues and, things like that. So someone might have their own genre, or they might have a couple genres that they pull together to make their own unique blend. But each yoga teacher is their own musician. And so you're going to attract different people based on the tone of your voice, based on the cues that you give, based on the environment that you hold. Just a yoga teacher that's trauma informed that says, I invite you to do this, rather a yoga teacher that's not, that says, I want you to do this. Saying want versus invite can attract different people in. And this goes for all of us within our branding, within how we present our business, whether we're coaches and, there's a million coaches that do this. whatever that might be. Each one of us are unique in our own specific way. And I highly recommend, as a yoga teacher to say, like, these are the groups of people that I want to work with. One of my specialties is yoga for back health. That was one of the things that I would always teach. I love teaching yoga for beginners. I love teaching yoga for body awareness. So I'm very trauma informed. Having these specific areas, and you might have like 5 core things that you really teach. And it is perfectly fine for each one of your yoga teachers to have their specialties and for you all to have overlays as well. Because overall, you're still teaching yoga and you still have this commonality. And you all should all be living the mission and the values of the yoga studio or the team itself. Does that make sense? And so within any business, each person, each employee brings their own spice, their own flavor, their own uniqueness. And together we make a whole, we make a collective. It actually makes our team stronger when we all own our own gifts, become more balanced. And in fact, that is one strategy in hiring teams, especially within project management. If I was to go in and become the project manager and I needed it to bring on certain people to help fulfill the project, I would not get a bunch of people just to go, oh, I think we'll all get along. We all have things in common. But it's good. Here's your strengths. I also need to know your weaknesses. Okay. They have strengths that will balance out your weaknesses. And we have this ability where, like, hey, you want to learn what this person's doing. Great. Let's cross teach. Because, for example, like in my I Love Yoga group, one of our guest speakers had a last minute, they were like, I'm not getting off work in time and I can't do the talk. Well, I could have canceled the talk, or I could step up and talk about my experience with authenticity. And I've talked about authenticity. I haven't done a specific 20-minute talk on it, but it was perfectly fine for me to step in and do that. So we are all going to have our strengths and weaknesses, and we could all talk about the power of authenticity. And we would all give a slightly different talk if 20 of us talked about it within 20 minutes, but there's going to be overlays. And I don't know if you've ever had like a teacher where, especially within this yoga world, right? Like they just say something about how to do a forward fold, and they just one little cue that they say, and suddenly you're like, oh, I've been doing forward fold my whole life or the past 10 years. And you just said something a very specific way in this moment that just resonated with me in that. And I say that to empower each of you because to keep talking about the topic. As we keep talking about our topic, we will refine how we talk. And I learn with you guys as well. When you all ask questions, when you all make comments, we are humans. Humans need humans, and we grow together, not in silos. I'm going to bring us back to relationship. And let's end on that note to, again, 25 people. 25 people, find 25 people that you can do market research with. But first, we have to know who's that group. And you might have 2 or 3 that you're kind of playing with, so maybe you get a little variety of those. But your homework really today is to do market research so that you can amplify your online presence, so that you can figure out a foundation for your funnel, for creating captivating content. And then I am asking you to also step up and be a change maker, to be more than just I teach yoga, or to be more than just I'm going to help people recover from divorce, or I'm going to help people with their energy. To step up and own it, to allow yourself to stand in the spotlight, to allow your light to shine, because as you allow your light to shine, it does not put anyone else's out. It invites them to allow theirs to shine, or you can light someone else's so that we can all shine together, and together we all elevate. So this is day 2. Day 2 of launch your profitable coaching business, service business. Yeah, I work with lawyers, with construction companies, I work with yoga teachers, I work with wellness coaches, I work with relationship coaches. Together, we will find a way to make sure that you can enhance your mission so that you can reach people. Now, if you would like to jump on a call, maybe you're like, "Hey, Izzy, I really would like to keep working with you. I really want to make money doing this or make more money doing this." That is my motto: calm the chaos, make more money. You can book a call with me. It's getvisiblechat.com. Getvisiblechat.com. And book a call. If you can't find one, just message me and we'll jump either in the chat. We can do voice memos back and forth, or we can jump on a call. And maybe you've got a question. Maybe you're just like, "Hey, what does it look like to work with you?" Either one of those, there's no strings attached. I navigate the call based on what you're needing, and we just go from there. So if you're ready to step up and like really make this happen, then I invite you to get on a call or message me, and let's make it happen. Let's make the world a better place through marketing, through business, through coaching, through us, just amplifying our message as well. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.